Cycling, like all competitive sports, requires athletes to be in the best physical shape possible, but also to have good mental health. Some cyclists believe that the best way to achieve this is to formalise a relationship that will lead to a happy and fulfilling family life. However, some of these stories end up very badly for athletes, and several cyclists' girlfriends have had a bad influence on the future of their partners. Do you want to hear about them? Without further ado, let the show begin. Marco Pantani and Christina Jonsson. The Italian climber who won the Tour de France and the Giro d'Italia in 1998 is one of the most charismatic characters in the history of cycling and doping. However, his weak out-of-competition mentality led to him making regrettable decisions that would end first his sporting career and then his own life. Among them, dating Christina Jonsson, a young, blue-eyed Danish woman who won over Pantani for two reasons. The first, undeniably, was her physical beauty. The second, she was an ideal partner to sing together the famous Christmas hymn, "Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow." A woman who, according to her own words, was not interested in cycling, but who went to see her partner at the races to get a bit of fame, and is already indicative of the type of person that we're talking about here. But if only a week after the death of Il Pirata, you sell to the press that he was a doped and compulsive cocaine addict, it's no wonder that you can be accused of being a cannibal snake. If she had loved Pantani so much, the logical thing would have been to try to get him out of his deadly spiral of drugs and action, and not to share in the addiction. Some people should wipe their nose before acting. Carlos Alberto Betancur and Estefania Restrepo. This Colombian cyclist was one of the most outstanding young riders of the years 2013 and 2014. When in the ranks of the French team AG2R, he finished 5th and best young rider of the Giro d'Italia, and also won the Paris-Nice, demonstrating very different all-round capabilities than the usual traditional classic Colombian beetle. He was not only a climber, he was also very good in the time trials and short mountain climbs. However, when he formalised his relationship with his Colombian partner, Estefania Restrepo, Carlos Betancur began to slacken mentally, spending long periods in his country when he should have been training in Europe. Perhaps the highlight of his career was when he signed for the Movistar team with his compatriot Nairo Quintana. Nairo man possibly was looking for a good teammate to defend him in the Tour de France, but Bananito had completely different plans. He began to eat like a tired and overworked donkey, and he spent much more time with his wife and family than with his fellow cyclists. Shameful. A life of laziness and bad habits that ended his professional career in 2020, when he refused to take the flight to Europe after 2 competitions in South America. Sure, better for his wife. Sure, she'd be delighted with the euros earned by her husband while he was cooking her some delicious bandejas paisas. Tony Gallopin and Marion Rousse. Possibly many of you know Marion Rousse better today for being the current partner of Julian Alaphilippe, and for being the typical prestigious journalist hired for her statuesque beauty and the secrets she can tell about her boyfriend's cycling team to get good ratings. But in the past, this French beauty was a professional cyclist too. And those were the times when she met the then promising French cyclist, Tony Gallopin. Both were a part of the Lotto team in which Gallopin lived his best moments as a professional cyclist, winning a stage of the Tour de France and the Classica San Sebastian amongst other great achievements. Dordain's all-rounder was so euphoric with his girlfriend that they even got married before the eyes of Lord Jesus Christ in 2014. But unfortunately for Gallopin, the revelation girlfriend of the Tour ended up leaving him in 2019. The depression ended up destroying Tony's career, who since then gets results more typical of a stagiaire than of a cycling champion. In addition, he has to put up with the fact that since the COVID pandemic began, his ex-wife has been going out with a much more famous and arrogant guy like Lulu, Somebody cheer this fella up, because it's going to be difficult for him to win any important competition again. Abraham Olano and Karmele Zubillaga. In this singular couple there have been no problems with love, bad habits, nor even performance on the part of the former Spanish world champion. How then has the alpha woman Karmele Zubillaga harmed the career of La Oreja? Well, this lady was the cyclist representative, and she was an avid negotiator. She managed to get Benesto to pay more than half of the salary of Miguel Indurain to Olano after Miguel's retirement. And she pulled the strings so that the publicity for her husband for the 1997 and 1998 seasons would be absolutely spectacular. However, that ended up bringing Olano many enemies, especially during the 1998 Vuelta a España. In it, the climber and teammate in Benesto, Jose Maria El Chava Jimenez, won 4 mountain stages, and attacking in all of them his supposed leader, Olano. This made Karmele very angry. She called in on the radio during a prime-time programme, and she did not stop spouting expletives about Jimenez. The Spanish climber, trained by Dr. Fuentes, did not hesitate to criticise the Olano couple. And although the Basque time trial specialist won that Vuelta, relations were broken forever. And Olano's top level in cycling too, since he began to lose the favour of the press and the favour of many Spanish fans. And maybe even that's where the famous Spanish TV phrase, "Que te calles Karmele," or "Shut up Karmele," was born. Lance Armstrong and Sheryl Crow. When the US postal rider Lance won his first Tour de France, he was dating a sweet and tender wife, Kristen Richard, whom he met when he was in the process of recovering from his illness. Together they made a perfect marriage. He doped fraudulently and brought home huge sums of money, and she looked the other way, and enjoyed the life that he gave her. But LA became more and more influential in the gringo society, meeting celebrities from all walks of life and being friends with characters like Matthew McConaughey and Ben Stiller. Maybe that's why, after having 3 children together, they divorced in 2003, and Lance began to meet superstars such as the singer Sheryl Crow. Together, they were one of the most famous couples in the world, and while she accompanied him to the Tour de France, he appeared at concerts and Grammy Award galas. A life that took him away from the sports spotlight and brought about Armstrong's retirement while he still had the cycling bug in his body. Lance himself admits that, although he had no problems with Sheryl, the lifestyle of a celebrity by his side forced him to attend events and shows where he didn't feel comfortable. And putting up with the press that was making him a multi-millionaire was not for him. His breakup in 2006 caused him to get back to thinking about cycling again, and with it, the biggest mistake of his career. Coming back after retiring as if he was Michael Jordan. I doubt that Lance has All I Wanna Do on his Spotify playlist.